Call to order the Greenwood Advisory Plan Commission meeting for Monday, May 22nd. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the May 8th, 2023 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Ms. Gardner, second by Mr. Lexi. All those in favor, please signify by raising your right hand.
Thanks.
So. Any special requests or continuances?
We do have a continuance on the Zoom.
How you doing this evening? My name's Andrew Barcosi with Barcosi Surveying, formerly Mauer Surveying. Can you guys hear me okay?
No.
That might be on our end because it was like that during BZA.
Can you hear me now?
Sort of. I think it's on our IT. Are you able to make it in the room louder? It was like this during
Any better? I'll talk a little louder if that helps.
I'm close to a speaker if I need to repeat.
Okay, we've got somebody close to a speaker and kind of repeat, so go ahead.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, we're in here for a couple of waivers on a commercial site, and we got some information today from some of the adjoining parcels that kind of sold the lot to the current developer, and they just wish to kind of review the site plan and all our plans that we're starting to bring forward to Greenwood. It was part of his purchase agreement deal, so we're going to request a continuance so we can address and talk with them before we bring it back in front of you.
Okay, so this is, I missed.
So this is for PC 2023-030 Worstville. There are 3 waivers, and they wish to continue the waivers to a future meeting. They got a message from adjoining property owners council, and as part of the purchasing agreement that they have to review the site. And so they'd like a continuance to review the site with the council of the adjoining properties before they come before Greenwood.
Typically, if there's a continuance, they have a specific date to
Right.
continue it to.
The June 12th, the next meeting would be great.
June 12th.
Okay. Do I?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Monica. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor of the motion to continue PC 2023-030 to the June 12th meeting, please raise your hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 6-0. So we will see you on June 12th.
See you on June 12th. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No old business. No old business. Any old business from the floor? Seeing none. New business. PC 2023-026, the Sayre Emerson zone map change. This is a public hearing. There'll be 15 minutes for the presenter or petitioner, 15 minutes for any remonstrators, and a 5-minute rebuttal for each period. With that, we would remind anyone on both sides to try not to repeat. That way, everyone that would like to speak either for or against gets the chance. All those wishing to speak to this docket, please raise your right hand. Please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by our secretary.
Is that for just the first one?
This is for on the agenda under new business.
A.
PC 2023. Yep.
026.
Yeah, -026. So if you're wishing to speak for or against that, please be sworn in by our secretary.
Do you swear perjury? This one is true to the best of your knowledge. What's that? Do you swear? I don't think it's perjury. True to the best of your knowledge.
And you're speaking for in favor of?
In favor.
Okay. Can we get your name and address for the record?
Marcia Clapper, CLAPPER, I'm the petitioner.
Okay. You might want to bend the microphone a little bit further just so the whole record.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
We're asking that this for a zone map change.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Clapper, can we get your address?
Oh, sure, 228 Daffin, Daffon Drive, Indianapolis, 46227.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're asking for a zone map change from industrial to interstate commercial, which we feel is a better use for the property. It fronts on Emerson at the corner of Emerson and Sayer. It's lot 1 in the industrial air park. To the north of it is a daycare, a CPA, and church. Across the street are more attorneys and Franciscan Alliance building. To the south is storage units, and then south of there are proposed apartments. So along that corridor, it's pretty much commercial. And we just would like to have it zoned commercial because we think it's a better use. Now, when we started this project, we had an offer, an orthodox, wanted to put a building in. Well, it's lost his money, so we can't do it now, but we still feel it's the best use for the property. So we still want to go ahead with the zone map change.
Anyone else to speak in favor of this petition? All right, anyone to speak against it? Anything else, Mrs. Clapper?
Just that we think it's the best use for the property, looking what there is from county line down to Main Street, pretty much that kind of use. It's not heavy industrial, it's more commercial.
If there's no one else to this docket number, then close the public hearing and staff, I guess we'll hear from you first.
All right, thank you. Staff is favorable of this petition to rezone from IL to IC. As Ms. Clapper mentioned, it is mostly commercial uses along Emerson right now. The IL zone is kind of a leftover from previous times that really should entirely be switched over to something commercial, and this will just be the start of that. Then the uses permitted in IC would fit much better on that lot than industrial.
Can you give us a few examples of what might be still in the IL versus the IC?
IL allows all your manufacturing, warehouses, pretty much any industrial use that's our highest intensity zone. IC, I don't have this.
Like mostly like offices.
Offices, commercial, similar to what's already.
Retail,
No.
food vendors or not? Food vendors or not? I guess
Yes, yeah, all types of restaurants.
Anything else from the commission? All right, Sean.
I would remind you, when you are making a recommendation to the common council, to keep in mind the following criteria when making your recommendation. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, current conditions and the character of the current structures and uses in the district. The most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. The conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood, and responsible development and growth.
All right, with that, we will entertain a motion.
I move that the petition for a zone map change to rezone approximately 2 acres of land located at the southwest corner of the intersection of Cedar Drive and North Emerson Avenue within the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, from IL Industrial Large Format Zone to IC Interstate Commerce District as set forth therein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented. I guess no commitments.
There were 2 recommended in the staff report. One, the development shall be in compliance with Unified Development Ordinance as amended. Compliance with this condition must be met before a land alteration permit is released. And two, any infrastructure improvements will be performed in accordance with the Technical Review Committee.
With the two commitments.
Second, all right. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries 6-0.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. All right, next is docket number PC 2023-027, 3211 West Smith Valley Road annexation. This is also a public hearing, so there will be 15 minutes for the petitioner and 15 minutes for demonstrators to speak. Again, we'd ask to try and keep comments, from repeating, so everyone that wishes to speak gets a chance. All those wishing to speak for and against this, please stand and raise your right hand to be sworn in by our secretary.
Swear to uphold this perjury, testimony is true to the best of your knowledge.
Yes.
All right, and if you're the petitioner, go ahead. Will you get your name out?
Yes, sir. Alan Hampson, and my address is 5572 Grosbeak Drive in Greenwood.
Okay. You mind go ahead and tell us?
Sure, absolutely, yeah, so I'll try to keep this short and sweet, but currently, my wife is an independent hairstylist. She works in the Greenwood office, the suites on Smith Valley currently. We would like to move her into that building. I work from home as a real estate agent. I'm a single agent independently. And I would like to move my office space to that house. So basically, it would be the two of us in that house. That's the current plan. Changing it to business space or office space for between the two of us. Currently to the west, there's an office building. The lot is about an acre. I know with the CM zoning requires a 30-foot buffer zone, which we are happy to do between our house and Shepherd's Grove, which is to the south and east of us, which would leave more than enough room for a large buffer. Traffic won't be very heavy at all. In fact, my wife probably had maybe 20 to 30 people in every week. I would maybe have 1 or 2 a month. So traffic would be very low. It would be a nice buffer between the other commercial areas, which are there already, and the residential area. And the comprehensive plan already does put that property on as potential or planned for commercial use in the future. So, and going with comprehensive plan, we want to stay within the guidelines of what Greenwood's already set aside and continue to work within their current asks, and everything they want. So, I'm happy to answer any questions for everyone later. We certainly want to be good stewards of the area and only make it better. There's a sidewalk on either side. We would love to connect those two so that it increases accessibility to the area, to the other businesses down the road, and amenities, so that people can walk to restaurants if they would like, from the neighboring residential areas. So, yeah, that's our plan. So we'd like to.
Yeah, so we'll come back once at the end of the public hearing, we'll come back to the commission for questions. Anyone else to speak in favor of this? All right, seeing none, whoever wants to go first.
Am I allowed to give you visuals?
Yes.
Well, my name is Connie Scuffle. I live at 719 Disciples Way. And It was very nice to meet Mr. Hanson and hear his explanation. I live on one of the fences that borders the property that Mr. Hanson is wishing to change. As you can see, that's a front door. That's my door. I'm right next to it. So whatever goes on in that property will affect mine. This is a plat map that shows where this property could be, is, I would say, part of the neighborhood.
Here, share it, I can share.
Okay, and
Right.
I only got one of these, but if you want to pass it down the row, the house he's speaking of is right here, okay? And then next to it is, I believe it's called the Jaeger Building, the two-story building.
Correct.
So there is a right-hand turn if you're heading east up Smith Valley Road right there. Here is Home Depot. Right behind Home Depot is, I don't know if it's a road, an alley, whatever you want to call it.
For the recording, are you able to use the microphone?
Well, I can't show this. I'm sorry. All right. Well, if you'll, I'll give this and you can pass it down. The house that we're speaking of is right next door to the Jaeger Building. That is a right-hand turn if you're going east. They're proposing adding another right-hand turn into the property that they wish to rezone. And then if you go immediately past the Jaegers, the utility pole, there is another right-hand turn if you're going east that will go behind Home Depot and to the strip mall. So you've got people turning right, turning right, turning right. And this would be adding again to the traffic on Smith Valley Road. So you're talking about congestion that it would be adding to. Okay, well, we know evidently Mr. Hampson is a real estate agent and his wife wishes to put in a beauty salon in there. So Mr. Hanson is just a single agent, is that good? Okay. And this has been a single family dwelling for I don't know how long. I have been in Greenwood, this is coming up 3 years. So if you look at that one map, that little house is part of the neighborhood feeling there at Shepherd's Grove. And one concern that is that, okay, currently this house would be redone and Mr. Hanson and his wife would be in there. What will happen maybe 5 or 6 years down the road when they are no longer wish to use that property? What will happen to it? Who can move in there? Will it be as desirable as what they are saying that they would like to do? For also, then you've got people that want to turn left onto Smith Valley Road. And turning left can be a time-consuming life, almost taking your life in your hands to turn. And that would be adding to people wanting to turn left, perhaps, instead of going right out of the business. Also, what would the hours be for the business? As you can see, I live on the other side of that fence. Is there going to be security lighting, the size of the parking lot? Will this be something down the road that can be expanded and again bump into the proximity of where my home is located. Now, the fence along is right on my property. So I'm concerned about noise, what could happen down the road, and how it may have future development beyond what is coming up tonight. And we have discussed a buffer zone. I guess I need to understand what the buffer zone would be. Would they clean out? There are old trees and bushes and shrubs along those fences. Will that be cleaned out and then updated and maintained? Will there be a dome? Will there, I guess, a ridge? Would there be trees planted? How would that be addressed? And I'm asking how that would be constructed, who would maintain it, and to help us as people in the neighborhood behind this and beside this know that this would be continually maintained. I've got, the map that show the buffer zone. For me, it is the consideration of somebody being that close to my property, how they're going to affect my home value and my neighborhood. And also the traffic that is going to be congested or added to. And in a few years, they're going to be widening Smith Valley Road. So how will that be adjusted and taken into consideration? I am not for this. I've given you my concerns. Thank you for listening, and I hope the visual will help explain some of my concerns.
Any next? Yeah, we've used 7 minutes so far.
Good evening, I'm Donna Cale, that's C-A-L-E. I live at 767 Shepherd's Way. I also live in the Shepherd's Grove addition that she was talking about. And I'd like to share some of our thoughts on that. In the area you are proposing this rezoning, we would like to point out that there are 3 major driveways there. The first one is, and they're probably 25 feet in that area, all in one area. The first one is the road leading from Walmart, Home Depot, St. Francis Imaging Center, United Parcel, just to name a few of those things. Those roads are constantly, they have traffic coming in and going out. About 7 feet from there is an entrance to the Greenwood office building. When catty corner across the street from the Greenwood office building is Reston Road. So now we have 3 major things going on. And it's the area you're proposing to build a mini mall, which is what they called it, is approximately 10 foot from these 3 driveways. Thus, we would have 4 driveways and approximately 30 foot or so. We understand that this proposal would be for a mini mall of approximately 3 small stores. That doesn't mean it will remain there as 3 small stores. It can later become 1 big store. Additionally, our little addition already backs up to Walmart, Home Depot, and the Greenwood office building. Lastly, Smith Valley has been chosen as one of the exits off of I-69, which has already increased our traffic load heavily. We have been repeatedly told that they intend to widen Smith Valley Road after I-69 was started. Per the newspaper article on Friday morning, Smith Valley will only be widened to the first street after you exit I-69. They have said plans to widen Smith Valley Road are in a few years, which is what they've been telling us since 2009, when I moved in. So given all the above reasons, we respectfully request you deny the rezoning.
About 5-6 minutes left if there's.
My name is James Byler. I live at 721 Disciples Way. On the other side of my door does not face this property, but it definitely impacts my home. Noise from there will come to me. Any problems from there, you know, if there's trash, it will blow across and down my backyard or in my front yard. So I am concerned that not this business that he's proposing putting in there, but something in the future. I just moved into Smith Valley area and would like to make it my permanent home. And would like it to stay a nice neighborhood. I don't know the rules and regulations. They allow in the future for that to become a bar, a nightclub, an adult bookstore, something like that. That's not going to be something that's positive for my home value. And I think those things need to be taken into consideration as to not only what he's planning to do now, but as a result of that, what can happen in the future. It's nice to just look at today, but what's the impact tomorrow? That's all I have right now. Thank you.
We have 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes. If no one else wishes to speak against, Mr. Hamilton, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal.
Someone else?
You did.
I'm not sworn in, so I guess I can't say anything.
If you have something to say, you can stand up and she could administer you the oath and we'll give you a couple more minutes. I think that's up to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Be happy to hear.
Yeah, as long as she swears you in first.
Do you swear on against perjury? Testimony against true, best of your knowledge. You swear on against perjury, the testimony against true, best of your knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
My name is Nellie Kopecki, and I have lived in Shepherd's Grove for exactly 5 years.
Can we get your address for the record, please?
710 Disciples Way.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Down Street. The only thing that I want to say, there's only one exit from Shepherd's Grove, and that is Smith Valley. And it's already congested, which other people have attested to. It's a congested road. How are we going to get out at all with more businesses close to it? We were already there, and here we are. I can't get out now. Is there a consideration in the future, which I know we're not addressing, that they would put a stoplight, something? That area is not, it can't grow. It can't grow commercially with our addition there, and have us to safely get out on the Smith Valley going either direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, Mr. Hampson, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal if you'd like.
First, I want to say thank you to everyone that did come tonight and express their concerns for their community, which I'm part of as well, and also care deeply about. Just a few things that I'll explain and kind of go over in more detail for you guys, for everyone here. So a few of the concerns, I know, one of them was what may come in the future, like a bar, bookstore, adult bookstore, or something like that. I know with current zoning, I believe that's not even allowed, for what I'm requesting in any commercial zoning, CS or CM that would go in there would not be allowed. So those things, even in the future, under current code with Greenwood zoning would not be allowed. In addition, the building is not being enhanced or improved. It will be improved aesthetically, but not in square footage, size, or space. We're not adding any other new buildings or structures. We're just simply remodeling what is already there. And as far as noise, we do not anticipate any more noise in a normal single-family residential home that would be there. It would be 2 or 3 people in the house at any given time, and it will be inside the house. So we won't have even kids running out in the yard or anything like that. That's not something that the building's intended for. So if anything, it could even be quieter than a residential home could be. I know there's some concerns with the driveway, with cars coming in and out and traffic. We're happy to move the drive on either side of the building, to accommodate traffic flow, whatever works best. So, that it gives them more of a buffer area between the house as well as the office suites that it's adjacent to. And when talking about long-term effects, speaking of traffic, I think that's being addressed with the widening of Smith Valley in the future. So in the short term, the effect of the building is going to be very minimal with what we are going to have in there, and long term, the Smith Valley widening is going to alleviate any other additional concerns that could come up. And then another concern was with the buffer zone, wondering what was going to be back there. Yes, I do intend to clean out all of the brush that's there. There's currently 2 brush piles in the yard that are there that I would like to clean up. And yes, I will keep up on the landscaping. The city ordinance requires that we have at least 30 feet for a buffer zone with trees and shrubs planted throughout, which we plan to adhere to. And we do want to keep that nice. Not just for us and our business, but for the community. So those are all things that we do intend to keep up, and we want to improve on what's already there, because it certainly doesn't meet our standards. So we want it to look nice. So with that, that's.
Thank you. The remonstrators get 5 minutes rebuttal for that, so either one person or two if it's short.
Well, in the first place, I don't think you're gonna be able to do a business with the house where it sits, because you're gonna be parking on the street. And if they do come along and widen Smith Valley in a few years, you're gonna have to move back because you have no parking at all. So all those things are in the future. And the other thing is even the lighting. When Walmart moved in, we had an awful time getting the lighting so that it didn't go in somebody's bedroom. And I know it's a small business right now, and I know they got the best intentions, but we also know what the future can bring. And it could be hard for us, and as the lady said, we have one road in and out, that's it. And we fight traffic continually. It's gotten worse since I-69 came in. And between the traffic, we're not worried about the noise when a small place like that's gonna go in. We're worried about the future, and we're worried about the traffic.
Still about 4 minutes if there's any other remonstrators.
I have appreciated what Mr. Hampson has said, but again, I would ask that you would consider keeping our area a neighborhood with a single-family dwelling and take in consideration the amount of traffic. Because if I looked at, even if the parking lot is behind the house, wherever they put the driveway, it's going to be, again, contributing to the flow of traffic and congestion already in the area.
All right, then. There's no other remonstrators. We will close the public hearing. Is it- Was there? Yeah, if you've not been sworn in, make sure she swears you in first.
Swear, Judy Westerfeld.
If we can get your name and address for the record.
Jennifer Kavanaugh, C4033 Terry Lane, Greenwood. We're in Smith, we are across the street from you guys. I live in Carefree South, we have for 40 years. So I'm coming from the other direction. It's impossible to get out of Reston Road onto Smith Valley to go across. I go for blood tests every single week to that St. Francis lab. I take my life in my hands. To be honest with you, this is going to sound very dramatic, but I honestly get up to the corner and it's like, Lord, this is in your hands. Tell me the right time to turn, because people are coming this way, they stop here to turn. I don't see how we are going to get in and out if we have now another commercial area. In addition to that, the zoning bothers me. Years ago, we talked about I-69 being completed. They talked in terms of across from your house, Mr. Hampson, those homes, many of them are small businesses, but they wouldn't grant them full commercial zoning. I don't know what you call that, some kind of special commercial, they residential, able to do some commercial business. My concern is if you shift this to zoning business, commercial, what happens to that line of houses? We are directly behind them. So now you've affected my family. So I feel for you, and I don't wish you harm. This is scary to me from those who are just not set up to handle it. Fix Smith Valley Road, then maybe it could be addressed. Anyway, I'm sorry. You got gist, right?
Thank you. We are, okay. With that, I'm going to close the public hearing. Staff?
Yeah, so just a little background on this petition. This is a petition for annexation into Greenwood with a zoning component, which is why it's before you. Right now, it is in Johnson County on a septic. It is surrounded by Greenwood on 3 sides. We are on either side of this less than an acre property. The county does not want to develop this property, and they would like it to hook into our sanitary sewer system. That is the petitioner's motivation for annexing into the city of Greenwood to develop this property. That being said, we do have a future land use map for this area. This lot has been designated as commercial for future. It is also a part of a neighborhood commercial special district where it was included. I included that area in the staff report as well. So with this, it would be a annexation and a zone map change that council will act on, but the zoning aspect is commercial. Due to the size of the commercial property, it fits our commercial medium standards. I have spoken with the property owner about committing to commercial small uses. So our standards are based on the size of the lot his lot is too large to be zoned as commercial small. So he has to be in the commercial medium zoning district. However, we could commit him to the commercial small uses, which we'll pass out for you guys so you can compare them. These are less intensive uses. Some of the uses that the commercial small zone does not allow, that the commercial medium does allow, are vehicle sales, a school, a shooting range, overnight extended stay hotel. School is post-secondary school, just to clarify. Multi-unit buildings, food service or fast food, event centers. So a lot of those more intensive commercial uses will be prohibited if we commit it to the commercial small zoning. I'm willing to bet, and we can talk with the petitioner, that he would also be willing to prohibit adult bookstores and entertainment and nightclubs if you choose to place additional commitments on this property and with your recommendation. Now, that being said, a lot was brought up regarding this property, so some background on the road. The county and NDOT are working on widening the lanes there. They're also looking to put in a roundabout for safety. So there are some improvements for this area for the traffic concerns that we've heard. Personally, from a staff perspective and in talking with our engineers, we do not think that the proposed land use is going to be the difference in this area as far as traffic volumes. This property does already have a driveway cut. They're not proposing an additional driveway cut. They're sticking with the one driveway cut. We're not adding multiple. They've located their proposed concept plan to have that driveway cut and the parking lot be as far from the residential properties as it possibly can be on this site. And it is located in his proposed plan behind the building. So when the right of way is taken to widen the road, he will still have adequate parking for the salon and for his real estate office. As was mentioned, we do have a buffer yard in this area. It is a large buffer. So that would be either a 40-foot buffer or a 30-foot with a 6-foot fence. With that buffer, we do require plantings. So right now, there is less planting and trees and shrubbery than there would be after he does site development work, such as adding the parking lot to the site. So it will actually be more buffered and insulated than it currently is. Property maintenance was brought up. Greenwood does site property maintenance if there are issues with something going into disrepair, trees that are required per a landscaping plan dying or being cut down because someone doesn't want them. We would cite them for those things. So you do have to keep your landscaping and your site maintained. And from my understanding, he is looking to improve the facade of the building. I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but from what I've heard from the petitioner, it does sound like an improvement from the building we have there now. It is the same building. It's not expanding in size. What is proposed is the building that we have there today. Currently, it is in the county and it is zoned for multifamily. So we talked about what is permitted there and what we're afraid of with the traffic. I think a multifamily development could add some intensity that is maybe more traffic producing than the proposed office space that he does have. With that, we did have a favorable staff recommendation for this site. like I said, it's in our comprehensive plan. It has close proximity to 135, and it is around major commercial areas like Home Depot and the office building next door, as well as others that were mentioned in this area. With that, I'm just gonna take a moment to pass out some of these. These are comparing the CS zone to the commercial medium zone. If you chose to commit this commercial medium zone to commercial small zoning. I also have a couple extras that I'll allow the remonstrators to see, although the public hearing is closed, just for them to know what you guys are seeing. And I'm ready for any questions as well.
Okay, with that, I'll open the floor up to the commissioners. Any questions? Thank you.
I don't need, what do you want to give that to?
Yeah, because Sherry and I can both share. That one.
There are a lot of changes coming.
So Gabe, what you just said is that a multifamily would be something like an apartment complex or something, or what?
Yeah, so for the multifamily, 14 dwelling units are permitted for multifamily. And then if single family were to go there, 14 units per acre. This is right under acre, it's 0.93 or 0.97, I'm sorry. Or if it was single family going in, it would be 6 single family lots. Single family or 2 family units, so it could 6 units per acre. But if it's multifamily, it could be up to 14.
I have a question for the planning director. Is the petitioner in favor of zoning his commercial property as a small use facility?
Yes, so we did, he can't zone it as small use, commercial small, because we have size requirements and he does not meet the size requirement for commercial small. Some zoning ordinances are based off the intensity of the use. The ordinance that we have is based off of the size of the lot. So he is too large of a lot to be zoned as commercial small, but he is willing to commit to the commercial small uses, from my conversations with him.
Very good.
And he can, if he has an objection.
Then I do have one other comment. There's a lot of existing vegetation on the property line between the single family, multifamily property to the west. Will the petitioner preserve the vegetation and get credit for that as part of the landscaping installation? Buffer yard?
So we do have limitations on what type of vegetation can count towards our landscaping guide. It would have to be, and I'll get the caliper of the tree, but it would have to be a good sized tree to count towards our requirement of landscaping. We won't just allow brush or invasive meadows or something to count towards our landscaping. So the existing, to preserve a tree, to count towards our requirement, trees must be greater than 6 inches in caliper measured diameter. Okay, so the diameter would be 6 inches for an existing tree, and it would need to be clearly indicated on the landscaping plan. It would need to not be an invasive species, and it would have to be in good health or have the ability to be in good health.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, we will entertain, oh wait,
I will remind you of the criteria and also, Mr. Shell, are you participating to vote? Okay, then we will need a roll call
okay.
since we have a member participating electronically.
And I'm sorry to interrupt very quickly. I forgot to mention the one commitment that we had in our staff report should be before you. The commitment is when the site is improved, UDO requirements as amended would be applicable. That would be inclusive of landscaping, pedestrian facilities, so the sidewalk connection, right-of-way dedication, stormwater management, so we're not discharging stormwater out to your neighbors, we're being good stewards and improving that site. Parking requirements, and et cetera, would be incorporated in this site. And then the additional ones that I'm proposing tonight are the CS zoning, use table. And then I'm also proposing that we prohibit, nightclubs, and the adult entertainment bookstore uses.
In making your recommendation, again, please pay reasonable regard to the criteria. 1, the comprehensive plan. 2, current conditions and the character of current structures and uses in the district. 3, the most desirable use for which the land in each district is adapted. 4, conservation of property values throughout the jurisdiction of Greenwood. And 5, responsible development and growth.
All right, with that, we will entertain a motion.
I move the petition for annexation of approximately 2 acres located at 3221 West Smith Valley Road, which is contiguous to the city of Greenwood, Johnson County, Indiana, as set forth herein, receive a favorable recommendation from this commission to the Greenwood Common Council, and that the same be certified to the Greenwood Common Council in the form presented with the following commitment. Like Gabe said.
So the 1, already in the staff report, and 2, that the uses be limited to those that are permitted in the commercial small zoning table, and also prohibit nightclubs, adult entertainment, and adult bookstores uses.
Correct. Just for clarification, it is 0.97 acres.
Okay,
Yeah, but we got it, whatever.
I second the motion.
thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second. This will be a roll call vote. Mr. Shell,
Aye.
Mr. Lexon,
Aye.
Mr. Milborn,
Nay.
Probst,
Aye.
Ms. Gardner,
Aye.
Ms. Magna,
Aye.
and I am an aye. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 yays, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Thank you for that. And when will it be heard at the council? That will be up to the common council, but typically this recommendation will be made to the common council and will be placed on their agenda for the next regularly scheduled meeting, which is June 5th. So the common council should consider the zoning. Message change.
1 of June.
June 5th.
June. And just their agenda published beforehand on ours is correct. So just like this agenda is posted, their agenda is too. All right.
Notification of that several
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Will there be a notification of that somewhere, or you're just telling me it's June 10th?
It's June the 5th, Monday, June the 5th, and if you don't get actual mail notice or publication notice, because there is not a hearing before
Okay,
the common council, but they do allow people to speak before the meeting begins. And it's usually posted out in the lobby 48 hours before the meeting. But
Okay.
the next regular scheduled meeting is June 5th, 7 p.m.
thank you.
Should I post online?
It's on.
Yeah, the agenda's online also.
Thank
The next docket item was continued, so any new business from the floor?
Yeah, I circulated a letter that I received from an HOA for your consideration, the new comprehensive plan.
So, we have received a letter as well. We have not yet finalized the contract with the consultant for the comprehensive plan. So the input, although we are looking for input, it's maybe at the wrong time, since we haven't started the public input process in the comprehensive plan, but we will have surveys and events and areas for public feedback, but we are aware of their concerns regarding the east-west road proposal.
Any other new business from
Can
the
you
floor?
give us an update on the Main Street construction's going and the end date perhaps?
I cannot,
Oh, say that.
Your neighbor is absent tonight, that's our,
I'm not sure if Mark could either, I know that.
It's coming along. I see
They're coming
out,
along.
out of these done out there.
Yeah. I'm sorry though, I don't, I can't.
usually has his finger a little more.
Yeah.
Any other? Soon, well, I know we'll have business on the 12th.
We've got business on the 12th, we also have a zone map change right now.
Outstanding. With that, I will entertain one last motion.
To adjourn.
We are adjourned.
Yeah.